He's Jeff King. I'm Andy Erickson. This is not another shooting show. We go to Bakersfield, California, where police are investigating after a customer accidentally shot himself inside a busy Chipotle restaurant.
Oh, snap.
A Bakersfield police spokesperson, it's California, spokesperson said they received a report of a shot going off in the Chipotle bathroom on Mount Vernon, just south of Highway 178. Those are details no one really cares about. The victim fled from the restaurant before officers arrived at the scene. Investigators were notified a gunshot wound victim arrived at a nearby hospital shortly afterward. A police spokesperson said that a gun was later found in the victim's car. He's going to be booked on gun charges and illegal firing of a weapon in public. The Chipotle remained open because, you
cannot shut down capitalism.
Not at
just
12
because there's a dead body.
Not at 12:49 on a Tuesday.
That line was
Absolutely
probably
not.
out the door.
Yeah, no, that's not going to happen. Or wait, it's the 20th. That was on a Thursday. Or no, 20th. It doesn't matter. So anyway, it reminds me of that video of the guy who was standing there in the restaurant. I actually have this audio handy. The restaurant pop. Remember that? I have no clue.
Yep,
Yeah.
now I remember it. Yep.
I have no clue. All right. Let's see. Other interesting things. The folks in Finland. I'm not sure what the gun right situation is in Finland. I saw this article right before we started recording, but are you aware of what it's like in Finland? I know they're big into rifles there, right?
Yeah, so the Scandinavian countries where Finland falls into the Scandinavian Nordic realm, I always forget, but I don't want to offend our one Finnish listener, but
I think that's still Scandinavia. I'm pretty sure.
Right, but I think they're kind of a standard European style where you have to kind of like fill out some paperwork and be like, hey, I need this for this reason, but they host a brutality match every year where the reserves let them use an armored personnel carrier as part of the stage. So like they accept that they actually have a full-blown enemy on their doorstep.
Yeah. The article is entitled, "As Russia Threat Looms, Finland's People Are Learning to Shoot Back." And as I was scanning this article, it's pretty interesting how they have this defense force. What is it called? The National Reservists Association. It's 90% military reservists, but also some hobbyists. So you can just volunteer for this thing. And it has grown by more than 2/3 to over 50,000 members since Ukraine got invaded by Russia.
Yep.
Interesting. Unlike some other European countries, Finland has kept around 50,000 Cold War-era civil defense shelters, which can accommodate roughly 85% of the population with about 5.5 million people. Can you imagine how those conversations went? Like, hey, it's 1995. Russia, the Soviet Union's gone. We don't really need these anymore, do we?
Well, the Finns are a practical people.
Yeah.
And Russia does still... when Finland joined NATO, I remember there was some statistic that they like doubled the amount of border that NATO now shares with Russia because Russia is literally right next door. They own several cities that they took in 1944 and have not given back.
Yeah, Finland is the Scandinavian country that borders Russia. Well, I guess Norway technically does a little bit.
Right, if you want to try to fight in the Arctic Circle.
Yeah, in the real cold part. Sweden wisely let Norway have the rest of that. But
Yep.
Finland, Norway and Sweden are the two that are on the one double-headed penis, and then Finland's on the other side of whatever that bay is. The Gulf of... what is it? The Gulf of Bothnia?
Yeah, I don't try to pronounce Scandinavian anything.
No, I'm actually 100% Scandinavian, and I couldn't pronounce most of the stuff there.
Too many consonants in weird places.
Yeah, definitely. At least it's, the regular English or Latin alphabet. Anyway, I found that interesting that people are like, hey, yeah, we're learning to shoot because we might have some Ruskies coming over here and,
It's funny because the news article in it, it's on the Associated Press, and the guy starts it with, we don't really worry about someone like coming into our house because like that doesn't happen here. You can just leave your cell phone in the middle of the street and it will be there tomorrow because it's Finland. But like this is a country that leaves their children in baby carriers outside during the winter, and that's just normal. But they're like, our neighbor is kind of a dick.
we might need to kill Russians. So, yeah, we've got stuff. Anyway, I've found that amusing. There was a thread on our Reddit about a P320 that detonated when they were at a match. This was a post by someone who witnessed it at a match. In reading it, oh God, now I can't find it. There's so much. Thanks to our 209 members of our Reddit sub. You guys went crazy in the past week, posting tons of stuff. I mentioned this, and Jeff's like, "Well, half of it was me." I'm like, "No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't. It wasn't even close. It was lots of stuff." Here it is. Blue Fox 280. It was at a match and squatted with a competitor that had a SIG P320 destruct in their hands during a shot being called while conducting a course of fire. When it occurred, the detonation was significantly louder than the previous rounds. Heavy smoke, not like normal firing, blew out from the barrel and ejection port and pushed out the magazine from the frame, and smoke bellowed out as well. Competitor got powder burns to his dominant hand over the top of his index finger. That sounds like a double charge to me. Significantly louder, lots of smoke. Like when there's been an out of battery detonation, it doesn't really, like from the distance that a normal match video is shot, it doesn't really look that different. And it doesn't usually puke out the magazine from what I have seen or heard, but that sounds like a double charge to me.
Yeah, or maybe a squib that they didn't call.
Undiagnosed, could be, yeah. Could be that, but like, I've never been around a squib detonation where it turned the barrel into a pipe bomb.
I haven't either. I know a buddy of mine named Nick. He was shooting his open gun and he had a squib blow up the upper frame of the gun. I wasn't in the squad that day, but he did show it to me later, and I was like, oh damn.
I have a couple of 40 guns. Maybe this is what I could do with my M&P 40. We could just do an intentional...
Put a squib in it. And
squib it, yeah. And then put in a round that's perfectly fine, like, say, a gold dot.
Yeah.
And then put it behind a brick wall or something and put some cameras up and...
Put a ransom rest.
Some plexiglass and a string and pull the trigger and see what it does to my old police traded M&P. I hate to do that though, because like I paid money for it.
Yeah, the cheap side of you will not allow you to do that.
No,
it sounds interesting until we can probably Google and find like 18 examples of this.
Yeah,
being done.
I don't need to do this. We can just somebody else could do it. But anyway. Yeah, I've never had... I mean, I've had squibs, but I tried to fire a shot after one time, but luckily I couldn't chamber the next round, so...
Yeah, that was... I've had 2 squibs, both of which I think were... the bullet was too long in the case, and so when I ejected it, the bullet stayed in the chamber, essentially, and so I could never get the next round into it.
Yeah,
I did disassemble a gun mid-stage one time.
Mid-stage? What do you mean?
So I had a round that I had to eject, and the force that it took me to eject it, I was having issues with the crimping or whatever. I was like, I think there's a bullet still in here. And M&Ps, you can disassemble them without like putting your hand in front of the barrel. So I just like locked it back, flipped the lever down, let it fall forward, pulled the trigger, pulled the slide off, pulled the barrel out, and yep, completely blocked. So
what gun do you have to put your hand in front of the barrel to take apart?
I mean, several of them are not would not be guns I would try to disassemble on the clock. Like I would not try to disassemble a CZ.
Oh, definitely no.
And the amount of people who shoot themselves while disassembling Glocks, I just kind of assumed.
No, you don't. You have to actually grab it from the rear. You know, like the one-handed press check.
Yep.
That's essentially what you do to take it apart. You pull it back just that little bit, but not as far back as a press check, just enough so that it goes back without resetting the trigger, pull it down, and then it slides off.
So the example, the real example is in 1911. If you have the bushing, you have to stick your hand in front of it.
Oh yeah, that you
press the
would.
spring and or you can just launch the spring off into the
yes,
ether.
the spring goes to Jesus. Yeah. All right. Patreon.com/notanothershooting show for just $3.57. You get an extra show every single week. That one drops on Friday. By the way, the day this is dropping, it's Christmas. Merry Christmas, everyone. I will be not with my family on Christmas this year, which is kind of a big giant bummer because I'm on call. So I'm the guy who has to like do the road reports and checking and just luck of the draw, bad luck. I get to do it the week of Christmas, so my wife and kids will be at her folks. I'm going to hang out my mom's that day because that's close by. But anyway, Merry Christmas if you're listening to this on Christmas. I'm guessing most people won't listen to this on Christmas, though.
I mean, unless you're driving to the parents' house or something.
It'll be there first thing in the morning when you get up on Christmas. You know, open presents, listen to Not Another Shooting Show. You know,
Yeah.
It's a Christmas tradition.
It's a Christmas miracle.
Yeah. All right. So we had a super thread a couple weeks ago for the last pair of episodes, and we never really got into any of it. And I thought we did, and we did absolutely nothing from it. So, the 86-87 super thread, there was a whole bunch of stuff. Jeff posted it 2 weeks ago and said, what did you accomplish this year? What's the craziest thing you did or saw? What's the biggest influence, your biggest influence, and why? And any personal questions for the host? Did anyone ask a personal question?
There's the first one. The first response in the thread has a very good question for us.
Okay.
So Steven, he had a hell of a year. He went on deployment, and so he's hoping to have a season without an interruption.
Well, and he's in the Air Force, though, so deployment means he went to a tropical island and hung out.
Yeah, and he did a hotel room dry fire.
Yeah.
for 3 months, which paid off remarkably well.
Yeah.
He says, I haven't seen really anything crazy aside from the shit that Jeff gets away with in training. Not that he's practiced in 10 years. It's minor details. He said, my transitions from paper to steel to paper is wild when it hits. I just use the force, and when it works, it's magic.
Yeah.
When it doesn't, it's shit. He says that he doesn't have any specific influences, but he's been engaging a lot more with people online and enjoying a lot of the different networks that he's built in shooting. One of his influences, Potato Saul from the Hit Factor podcast.
Oh, yeah.
He said he's been a positive voice all year, but he's enjoying seeing the new shooters come in and get in the swing of things, and seeing some of the people get really involved in the sport that have only been in it for a year or two. His personal question is, for the host, what match are we declaring as the official grudge match of 2025 so that Andy can skip it to watch cars turn left?
The 2025 Cornhusker Classic. That's the grudge match.
All right.
Because Steven's going to be a wiped out head case, so I have a chance if he even shoots the match, which I'm sure he will.
Right.
But he's the match director for Cornhusker, right?
Yes.
Okay. So I after this year, I'm not even going to attempt to talk shit because Steven I got a little better. Steven got a lot better. So that's the only one. The only chance I have is for him to have some sort of mental breakdown. And a match you are running is the most likely to have a mental breakdown.
Correct.
So I'm going to say the Cornhusker Classic in 2025.
I'm down for this.
And there's no chance of me going to watch Cars Turn Left. Not a chance.
With that attitude. Let's see. So, Hoto Dog? I don't know.
Hato
Yep, that's why I didn't even try.
Dogu.
So he says his accomplishment this year was I'm just barely cresting A class after only shooting USPSA for a year. Congrats.
Oh, well, go fuck yourself.
Right.
I toiled to get to A class.
He shot 74% at his section match. He's probably young and fast. Podium finish the 120 IDPA local. He made the joke for me. If you heard the pause there, I was about to say, and he said, "Gay, I know, but still an accomplishment."
His words, not Jeff's.
Well played, good sir. Well played. Let's see. He watched his crazy thing he saw is he watched a competitor take a sight picture on the RO downrange while knowing the RO was downrange. He said that one almost turned into a fist fight. Then the next month at the same range, he watched a spectator and an on-deck shooter charge one another, only to both be narrowly stopped from clashing by their husbands.
Okay. Was the spec? I have so many questions.
I feel like I asked someone. He clarified it later. Let's see. He said, so Heidi said that the matches you go to are kind of wild. He goes, both of these were just freak incidents in which new shooters and spectators did not understand the rules of making ready. Let's see. Cat fight participants had been thoroughly displeased with one another the entire match. The spectator's husband got DQ'd 2 stages earlier, only added to the hostility. Neither of them were acting like adults.
So I wanted clarification. Like, okay, were the husbands like guys? Were they gay, or was this like wives that got into the or girlfriends that got into the fight? But it sounds like it was females.
Like some wives. Yeah.
Okay, females got into the fight. That's even better.
To finish him off, he said, no real influence, just local M's that I have aspirations to beat eventually. Also told myself I would make A-class CO before I can clown with the Flux and PCC. He said, my AD and MD have definitely done a lot to help get me more involved with the sport to where I'm helping with stage design, so that's cool. He asks, why is my shot calling worse at distances where I can physically see my hits compared to distances where making out my hits on the target is impossible?
Because you're looking at the target.
Yep.
Like you're literally looking for the bullets showing up on the target and you're not even looking. Like
Correct.
Your sight is not part of the equation at all.
Yep. I was doing that with the Flux.
Ask me how I know.
Yep. I wasn't doing it with the Flux Radar. I was doing it with the VR where I was just watching the target, the bullets show up on the target. I'm like, I have not aimed a single shot.
Dude, there was a stage I was shooting on the Ace last night that was so fun. It was with PCSL targets, so they've got the head box. And like, because you're not holstered when you start with it, and the target was down through a port, I can literally start with the dot on the head box of a PCSL target, which is the same as 2 alpha. So I line up the sight on it. Okay. And then I look away. I'm waiting for the lady to go, are you ready? Stand by. Beep, boom. First shot, 0.18. And then I move to the one in the middle and then the one on the left. And they're all like powder burn distance.
Yep.
All 3. And then I go around. And then there's much more challenging shooting in all of the rest of the stage. But it's like some of the hit factors on that one were like 20. And I think the best I got was like, I don't know, 12 or something like that. It was nuts.
Yep. When you can zero hero with no consequence, those high hit factor boards are not good information.
Yeah. Okay. Let's go. Let's move on to the next one.
Yeah. So we fat LJ. He says hello from France. Andy, you have at least 2 fans from France.
Oh, that's awesome. I did not read through this at all. Oh my God. Yeah. No, there was a guy that listened to my old radio show in France and now there's 2.
Right? There you go.
I'm really big in France.
All right. So first matches for me this year, Improved and learned. Good job. Consistently shooting 80% of the winners in my region in level 2s. I mean, hell yeah, for your first year. A couple podium finishes. He said next year I signed up to be my first level 3. Also hoping to get into French nationals. That'd be epic. What should my expectations be going into my first multi-day big match? Well, you seem to be pretty freaking good. I don't know who exactly you're shooting against, but if you're shooting in France, your first multi-day big match is going to stomp your dick in because Eric Graffel is going to show up and make you feel bad.
Maybe. I don't know if
Maybe.
he shows up to all those. I don't know how many level 2s he shoots.
Well, I think this one would be a level 3.
Oh,
Is
a
what I'm
level
thinking.
3 in France. That's probably convenient for him. Maybe. I don't know. But there's
Right.
isn't there like level 4 and 5 in IPSC?
Yeah, because I
Like
think,
level 5 is the world shoot.
right, level 5 is World Shoot. Level 4 might be like the Euro Championships, and then like their nationals might be level 3s. I don't know.
I have no idea.
Right. So your expectations for your first big match, you're not going to do as well as you think because you're going to be more tired than the second day than you expect yourself to be. Like you think, oh, I'm just showing up to the range on another day, and it's
I
like,
have not found that in multi-day matches. I've only shot multi-day twice. No, 3 times. I don't count multi-gun nationals because we were working the whole time too. So, and it was like all day we were shooting. I shot Area 3 over 2 days one time, and then low cap nats in 2021.
those are the only ones you've done multiple days.
Those are the only. Otherwise, I've shot either all in one day or the match was all one day.
Right.
And it's like shooting a club match on a Sunday morning at Big Sioux for me. Like,
Right.
it's cake. It's super easy. Like in terms of the physical stress.
Yeah. So I for me it's mental. So like I struggle to stay focused at the best of times. I'm an unmedicated ADHD. And so by day 2 or 3, my brain is like, I don't really want to be here. I'm kind of tired of this shit. Like, I want to go home. So that's where I start to struggle for sure. Or I may go party with some South Dakota and North Dakota boys and shit gets fucking weird and we're pulling guns on each other. It's a whole thing.
So, Fat LJ, stay away from the North and South Dakota boys in France if
yeah,
you run
so-
into any.
Whatever the equivalent of North Dakota boys are, stay away from them.
Would that be like the Normandy guys? Because that's not that far north.
Well, and
Paris
and
is farther north.
right. Well, and then it becomes a game of like, is their North equivalent to why our North is weird, or are their Southern people weirder, or they've
I
got
don't
hill
know.
people? Anyways, so yeah, it's the mental game and just the duration of it, depending on like Area 3 for us is our local regional, and it will kill you with the heat. Like I have gotten heat stroke there several times.
And I'm pretty sure it gets hot in France, depending on when it is.
True. It does kill people a lot in the summer. So that multi-day, like being in a bay under the sun for 6 hours and then going back out for another 6 hours, like you're gonna feel it by the end of it. But just go in with little expectation. You should be fine. He said his biggest influence is all the shooting podcasts. He said my wife is pretty much sick and tired of it at this point. He said picking up information and training tips from different places and people seems to really help me valuable. He asked what our plans are, what our targets are for next year. What does Jeff's training plan look like? Andy, what changes are you going to make in order to officially get in M class?
Well, Jeff won't have a training plan, so I'll just start talking about the question directed at me.
Correct.
Number one change is to just get lighter and quicker. That's the biggest, most important thing. Like January 2nd, I'll start dry firing again and getting ready for the season. Technically, I'm already an M-class shooter because I did make it in rimfire optic in Steel Challenge. So technically, let me brush that off my shoulder there. I'm already a master class shooter. But no, but to get to master, I literally just need to shoot one good class fire and done. But I want that to get... I went through a phase last year where classifiers were easy for me. And not just the 23 series, because those were easy for everybody. But I shot some other classifiers that were really, really good, like some older ones too. So, and I don't know if that was just mentally I was dialed in or what. I didn't do shit for training last year, really. So, I'm not exactly sure, but I'm just gonna focus on being faster with my vision. And faster and more precise with my vision is the number one thing I'm going to work on. And then the foot speed. Like, I know how to move. I was an athlete in high school and college, so the athletic part is not the hard part for me. It's just the fact that I'm carrying a lot of extra baggage around and my legs are not as strong as they were 2 years ago. So I just need to get in better shape to make the foot, the movement part better, basically. But thanks for the note. Thanks for listening, dude.
I do actually have a plan for next year and a target.
The hell you say?
Right. My goal is that I am going to take it more seriously. One of the things I have to figure out is how to balance out my forearm fatigue. So when doing kickboxing and the weight training that I do, I kind of burn out my arms. That's one reason I haven't been dry firing. That's why I say I don't practice, is because I don't dry fire. And so my
more
goal
steroids.
Correct. All of the steroids. I'm just peptides, just some trend straight into the forearm. We'll be good to go. And then my plan is that if I go to a major, my goal is to shoot on either the super squad or the like secondary super squad. So like,
or even if you just shoot with a bunch of other dudes that are really good.
Yes. It basically, whatever match I go to, I talked to Steven about this. Me and Steven are going to try to get into the equivalent of whatever super squad there is at that match. So for like Great Plains, if Tanfo's there, or like Walden or Lane or Cody or whoever, like trying to be there and be in their squad is the goal, so that we get used to shooting against the higher level guys.
But wait, you don't like shooting with those guys?
I fucking hate it.
Okay.
It's fucking miserable, but I realize that it's the next level of the sport, and that I need to, if I'm going to do it, I might as well do it now and embrace it. And so that's the plan.
Well, you can be the rebel on that squad.
Yeah, someone's got to take John Anderson's spot.
Yeah.
Just in the back listening to music, dancing.
Yeah, he's I don't know if he's shooting at all this year, but I hope he does. Okay, I'll read the next one, because Owen said he feels like he accomplished a semi-decent understanding of shooting with a red dot. Blowing his barrel in half was wild. That was wild. That was a Great Plains last year. That was, yeah, that tack sport barrel started peeling back like a banana. The most influential is a tie between Jeff and Steven. Steven for his insane dedication to training, and Jeff for his utter disdain for it.
Correct. 110%.
And of course, that's going to make Steven go harder in the off season, because a tie is unacceptable. Yeah, that barrel at Great Plains, that was wild.
Oh, yeah.
That was wild. Owen also posted a video of him shooting an indoor match with his 10mm Glock 20, because he came straight from work and that was the only gun he had with him. I can't believe he had rounds for that. Or it's at a gun store, so I suppose maybe he bought ammo there. But or maybe he just all the carry ammo he had, because he was ready. He was prepared.
He was full, ready to go full send, and he did. Like I kind of think that 10mm.
He looked under control.
Right. I was like, 10mm might be your thing, because you looked like you actually were aiming some shots.
Yeah.
And controlling the gun, and like it looked good. So maybe you just need to invest in shooting 10mm on mass.
Because normally when Owen's shooting, Owen looks like a bottle rocket launched horizontally when he shoots a stage.
Correct.
It's just like all over the place. And like, I know it seems wrong, Owen, but if you're just more under control and just actually aim at everything, it is faster than sliding to a shooting while moving stop. But anyway,
coming in like a wrecking ball.
He is the Miley Cyrus of USPSA.
100%. The nimble sea urchin says he got a handful of people to try the sport out for the first time. I mean, that's an epic accomplishment right there. I've been shooting the sport for 8 years. I've gotten one person to shoot one match.
You?
That's it. I've gotten one person to show up to one match. I've never gotten another acquaintance of mine to show up and shoot a match.
It's funny you mentioned that. I know of one guy at our local club who he would have found it on his own. Like I wasn't the reason he found it, but like during the winter, his wife and my wife were acquaintances, and then we went to their house and then started chatting and about shooting and stuff. And so he's like, oh, that USPSA, that sounds fun. And so I guess I could technically say I got him into it. But like I said, he would have found it on his own without my help. But other than that, I know I took my brother to a match a couple of times. I'm trying to think if I've ever... It's hard for me to say because I put on matches. So like sometimes I put on a match and new people come. So I don't know. I never thought of it that way, but yeah. And he said some of the local guys really make me want to push dry fire practice hard over the off season. Well, and I know this guy. He shoots with us. That's Tristan. Yeah, Tristan is a dude who he'll do something like incredible and then immediately shit the bed.
Yep.
Like, he shot an array of steel that was like ding, 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 ding. And then he completely missed the last popper and sent like half a mag at it. Like, what were you doing on the first one? It's like, I was just shooting him. And then I got cocky. And that's what happens to all of us, you know. It's like, I look really good. Miss, 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 miss. But, yeah. Jeff, read Heidi's. I'll read it. It's in front of me. My biggest accomplishment was finally not having a dumpster fire at the Iowa match. Also making the decision to finally take training seriously. I didn't do that until November, but so far it seems to be sticking.
There you go.
Uh-huh.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. Steven's a bad influence on her, I think, maybe.
100%.
Yeah. Let's see.
Trash shooter.
I know him too. He's from my club.
He classified as B class in his first year at 73%. Go fuck yourself. He watched the AD.
Yep, he was on our squad for that at the night match.
Yep. He said his biggest influence is Steven because he's so good. Again, go fuck yourself. What's your favorite 9mm powder? I have never used anything but Tight Group.
I would like to say it's something other than Tight Group, but it's Tight Group. I do have a bunch of N320 on the shelf that I used to save for a special load that I no longer use, so now I'm going to use it for a different load. But powder's gotten so expensive now, N320 is not bougie anymore. It's just powder. So, because it costs the same it always had, around $45, I think, at Scheels. And a pound of Tight Group now is like $35. So, like, the appeal for Tight Group now is not there for me anymore. Because I liked it before because it was cheap and it worked. Now it's not cheap enough. It still works, but I could get better measured powder with N320 than, yeah. I don't know. It's still mildly bougie, but like, hell, Sport Pistol's like $50 a pound. Yeah. I know some people would use that. Alliant powders are hard to find. Okay, I'll read the next one. This is a Lavernon. I struggled most of the year at matches, learning how to train. Regular dry fire eventually paid off, and things finally came together in the fall. The homies don't stand a chance next year. A guy started to make... this is the wild thing. Guy started to make ready on his own while I was coming back from pasting in front of him. Folks still downrange. No DQ. At least he was safe otherwise, but I haven't gone back. He's asking me, how is the board deciding what to discuss at the retreat? Are you each submitting topics? Do you know if there will be any strategic planning? Yes, most of it's going to be strategic planning. Another thing that will be discussed will be the 10-5-16 rule, the draw. That got just completely cut from the rules audit. at the last board meeting. We approved a whole bunch of stuff, including video. Video is allowed now.
Nice.
It's just part of the, when you appeal, like, I want an overlay or whatever, like, you can use video at that point. But the appeals process is the same. Like, it ended up happening in the way I would have liked it to happen, is just videos allowed during the regular appeal process where you tell the RO, I don't like that call. CRO comes over, says, nope, I don't like that call. Call the range master. Range master comes over, and the range master at the match will be the final arbiter. The one thing that is important for people to understand about that is the DQs can be overturned by video at that time, but they cannot be overturned in arbitration. And they never have been able to be overturned in arbitration.
Right.
So that's not new, but the video won't save you at arbitration from a DQ, but it can save you in the moment just appealing to the ROs. Excuse me, I got hiccupy and burpy all of a sudden.
Seems reasonable.
So yeah, that's good. Now, interpretations of the video cannot be dictated. That is going to be the part where people still lose their shit.
Yep.
To me, most of the time when I've seen video, it's not evidence of a not DQ, it's evidence of a DQ. So
the infamous Hunter Constantine video that the internet freaked out over.
And then there's that one where you can look at it and it is overwhelming evidence of a non-DQ.
No, you must be thinking of the wrong video, because everyone thought it was overwhelming evidence of not a DQ until someone went, "Oh, you guys are basing your 180 on the wrong line." It was if you base it off of the correct line, it was he was at like 205.
Oh,
yeah. So this is where the controversy and the difficulties will arise. Is perspectives on video are going to mess with people.
I never heard this second part of that story.
Yeah, I want to say it was Jay Mars, but I'm not 100% sure. But someone was like, "Oh, you guys are basing off this being the 180. This stick right here is the 180," and he was way over the line.
Okay, that doesn't necessarily absolve the stage designer of leaving a DQ trap in there, but at the same time, like, don't DQ, like, don't break 180.
Correct. But
like,
yeah, so
that's still a thing.
So while it is a good change, it will bring its own complications, like all rule changes.
Yeah, but at least now I can get out of my foot fault or my super obvious not a DQ or number of shots fired or, hey, he shot 3 shots at that target. You got video? Show me those 3 shots.
Better hope you have your Insta360s.
How hard is it to get video off those in an instant?
It takes about probably 3 minutes.
Oh, God. Yeah.
Because you just need to make sure it connects to the phone, and then you can pull the video up, and then you just got to figure out where it is in the video.
But it takes 3 minutes just to look at the video on your phone?
Because you have to get it connected to your phone, have to get into the app, or get in the app, get it connected to your phone, and then once you're in there, you got to go through the video. So, but it probably takes a minute or two to get.
So not as fast as just going to photos, that video.
Yeah. So if you have a friend recording you and the third person,
the third person video is very accessible.
Right. Whereas the Insta360 will take a minute to get it all like set up to view properly, depending on how you record. So like, because when I record, I hit the button while the final shooter targets are still getting scored. So like, I'll have to like cut out all of that shit and then like bring up, and then it like foot faults. It won't tell you, like you don't know.
Nouns and wait, Jeff, did you decide? Are you taking a fight in 2025?
I'm 60-40 that I'm not going to, but there's still a part of me that wants to.
You're too old for that shit.
Correct.
Nouns and verbs. What did you? He actually broke it down and then put in like the tech nerd like code.
Yeah.
Where you can put code for like HTML or PHP or whatever. Linux code stuff. What did you accomplish this year? I got my innumerable reloading press issues sorted, finally. I moved up a couple of spots at local matches, but I still suck. I got some mental game blockers.
He got
Not
past the
metal
mental
game
game.
blockers. Yeah. What's the craziest thing you did or saw? It's not crazy, but I've seen the local match grow a bit, and seeing the sport grow is always cool. Neat. Who is your biggest influence and why? Biggest influence this year was one of my shooting buddies. He reminded me that USPSA is supposed to be fun, and being a tryhard is fine, but there's a right way to do it and a wrong way. Yes.
I feel personally attacked.
Well, you're wrong for having too much fun and being a tryhard. You're doing it the wrong way in the opposite direction.
Correct.
You're a tryhard who's having too much fun. Where the heck does Andy get off by... Oh, any personal questions for the host? Where the heck does Andy get off improving by practicing less? A part of it was just mental expectation. Like, it was mental because the expectations were low, so I didn't get as wound up about it. Then as I started having success, then it started coming back down again. But also part of it was I got good shooting a Glock, and then... when I started shooting a gun that's much easier to shoot, it was easy mode. Like, I literally went from hardened on Call of Duty to recruit, or whatever the lowest level is. It was just like, this got so much easier.
Yeah.
So that's how I get off doing that.
That expectation thing is so big. I always joke that
Really big.
The thing that makes an expert in fighting an expert is they know when not to give energy to something. And so when at a USPSA match, I almost feel like the guys who will do the best are the ones who are more on my side of the try hard list rather than, let's say, like the Joels or the Lanes drink.
And honestly, I'm more on your side of the try hard list.
Currently, yes. I think you were a little more on Joel's side than before.
In 2023, I was, yes, 100%. Okay, so there it was. There were all the responses to the 86-87 thread.
You forgot the most important question.
Oh, what?
Have either of you ever seen a manatee in real life? Not the kind at the bar 50 minutes before closing.
Well, that kind's way more interesting.
Yeah, I've never seen a manatee. I've seen an alligator that we fed marshmallows to, but I've never seen a manatee.
I've never seen a manatee. I had to I knew it was like some sort of aquatic mammal, but I wasn't sure exactly what they look like. They kind of look like a walrus without the giant tusks.
Yep, the
I guess.
mermaids of the sea.
Okay. Yeah, I dated one of them once. Okay. And it's not my wife. I can assure you, no, my wife does not look anything like a manatee. All right. I can't find the rundown. Where is it? Where are we?
So we are at the Ace VR meetup / motion sickness.
Yeah. Somebody put a thing in Reddit about having a meetup online. I don't know how to do it, so I'll have to have my son help me figure that part out. Because I guess you can kind of all shoot at the same time and be on there in multiplayer. I think there is a multiplayer function to it, but I'm too stupid to figure out, and I don't play multiplayer online with anything. So
I don't own one, so I can't be a reliably part of it. The guy also did comment that they make a printed sear replacement for the controller gun. I'm like, that's awesome.
I got a guy texted me a photo of his Shadow 2 Ace gun.
I've seen the 3D printed Shadow 2 ones, yeah.
It's cool looking. I mean, it basically has the all the other parts. I don't know if they took those parts from another gun or what, but yeah, it's a 3D printed. He did something to make it a little heavier. It's still not as heavy as an actual Shadow 2. Let's see. He put lead shot in and all in. It's almost 20 ounces. Still quite a bit lighter than a real one. but that's still cool. The gun on the screen, I actually changed mine to a Shadow 2, so it's closer to at least like the index part of it. But yeah. But then someone else commented on there, and I'm not finding this thread. I can't find it.
Sorry, I got it. So Broken Perf, he's an open shooter out of Arizona. He said, after listening to this week's episode, I got super sick when using VR. Also, can't read or focus on anything inside a moving vehicle. Does anyone else experience the same thing? He's been told to stick with it until it gets better, but no luck so far. I personally didn't have that problem. Austin commented that he also gets sick while reading in cars or having to focus on a vehicle, but he didn't have trouble when we were messing with the VR because he wasn't moving, so he thinks that wasn't like messing with his equilibrium.
So he wasn't running around while doing it.
Yeah, we were doing the stand and shoot stuff.
Sure.
But another guy said try using it for a couple minutes at a time until you get acclimated, and then start increasing the duration. That seems to be the other guy who commented said about the same thing. This is a realm I have no experience with. I've never dealt with motion sickness.
I don't have trouble with motion sickness either, so I have no idea what is it. Dramamine? Is that the drug that people take when they fly or ride in cars?
Yep.
Yeah. I don't know. But that sucks. I feel bad for you. I would hate to not be able to look at a phone while I was in a car ride. Jesus, how bad would that suck?
Right.
Like, if I ever travel to a match where I'm not driving, which is almost never, and I can't just zone out and like play Retro Bowl on my phone for hours on end and keep my franchise going, that will suck.
Yep. I'm a reader, so I like reading in the car.
Performance enhancing substances. They are banned in USPSA, by the way.
Really?
Yes.
Well, I guess it's not who's going to let you, it's who's going to stop you.
Well, it's also sort of on the honor system because I don't think anyone's ever been tested for steroids or performance enhancing drugs.
Right.
Ever at a match. So
I don't know. It pops into my head. I've because I'm kind of in the bodybuild, or I follow some bodybuilding pages. Of course, all that shit pops up into my thing, and so I was getting a lot of like, oh, what is your steroid stack that like made you lose weight and shit? And I'm like, I wonder what performance enhancing drugs would help you in USPSA. And I mean, the responses were not helpful.
This was a fun question.
It was.
Mine got the most likes. Steroids and Adderall.
Right, which I don't disagree on the Adderall. The steroids, we probably need to be a little more specific.
Well, I don't know anything about steroids, so.
Yeah, well, you'll learn today.
Are they like the ones my wife was on when she had chemo? I mean, they made her fairly perky for a day or two, and then she fell off a cliff.
No, D-ball doesn't do that.
Okay.
Attitude Dismissal says Boof Mountain Dew.
What's that?
I forget what boofing is. I'm showing
Boof? Boof was Michael J. Fox's girlfriend in Teen Wolf.
It's to insert it up one's ass.
Oh.
So butt chug Mountain Dew.
Owie. No, thank you. The word boof has multiple meanings, though. It's
Correct,
a maneuver in kayaking.
Just like goon has warped to a new perception that created a weird situation.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's an onomatopoeic word. Boof.
Yep.
It's an interjection, a low or deep dog bark. It's a hearty laugh, or a gag or line that produces a hearty laugh. It's also a slang term for anal sex, or the practice of putting alcohol or drugs up one's anus. I wonder how Costco bourbon is up my ass. Let me try it here once. Hang on. No, I haven't had that much to drink yet. What else did people suggest?
Heidi recommended cocaine. She has to retire before she can try it, though.
Yeah, no, those performance-enhancing substances when you are a commercial pilot, probably not a good idea.
Right. I mean, Single Stack for Life went with the basic caffeine and ibuprofen.
Are they really performance-enhancing, or is that just like water?
I feel like
water is a performance-enhancing substance.
That one gets you to like neutral. So you're down -2. That one brings you up to 0.
According to Troy, an IV is a performance-enhancing substance.
I'll fight him with an IV in my arm. Someone hasn't almost died on the Free State and/or Area 3 range before. Blue Fox 280 says, "Slam a Cialis and a pair of Advil, get it rolling."
Yeah.
We have another cocaine boat.
That was supposed to be Cialis. I got confused because they typed Celsius.
Oh, maybe it is Celsius.
No, but Celsius is like, the metric system of temperature.
No, there's an energy drink called Celsius.
Oh, okay.
I still think it'd be funnier to have a Cialis and an Advil.
Wouldn't you just be running around with a boner?
Yes. Get the blood where it needs to be. Some people say nicotine helps. I'm not a nicotine person, so
no.
Let's see.
Caffeine, meth would be interesting. Yeah.
Hookers and blow. Good call. Good call.
Yeah. Fentanyl, I don't think that would be performance enhancing. Although your perception of the performance might be better. Perhaps.
Right.
Okay.
Nouns and verbs says water and a good night's sleep. Company over 6'6" excluded, of course. I said, thank you. I like to be called out by name.
Even when you're not called out by name?
I mean, it was a direct reference.
Oh.
So PCSL fucks Steven.
Yeah, I'm so happy about this. Did he post that or did you?
Yep, he did.
Oh, he did. So I actually I wish I had thought to I was interacting with Max Leograndis this week about some stuff and also trying to get him on our show. And there's prototypes for new PCSL targets, and the head box around looks like they're changing the name of the K zone, like kill, to a T zone. And then there's two different new designs. I like the old target version, not the more IPSC looking version, but because it just looks like a bodybuilder on steroids with giant traps. But now the C zone goes up into the head box around the T, not an A zone.
Right.
So that lucky ass alpha that Steven caught at the night match, or was it the first night match, or was it at?
It was at the night match. He clipped the very top of the
should have been a
PCSL
miss.
target. Right.
And got lucky.
Yeah, he just broke the perf on the very top, but because the very top of the current PCSL target is an alpha zone, he got an alpha for
it was like
scraping
legit
the very top of the
alpha.
head.
Should have been a Charlie, and he got an alpha for it. I personally think there should be like a half inch of delta all the way around the head box, but that's just me.
Yeah, just cut the Charlie off at the neck and make it the rest of it delta.
But no, I like what Max is doing to this target though, because the Charlie zone goes up through the upper neck and into the head, kind of like the USPSA target. I would have just done it with the D zone instead. That's all, just to screw Steven a little harder. That's all.
Yep.
But yeah, I guess I'm kind of getting my wish. I don't think Max ever heard me say that, but I'm still getting it.
It is nice for an organization to kind of listen to member feedback. It sounds like there was enough feedback that they realized that the K zone was too big and the having the A zone on the edge wasn't the best idea for what they're doing. So it's good. It's good that they're evolving. It's funny how evolution seems to take a similar trend. And they are basically going to what is essentially what the USPSA target figured out.
Yeah, kind of. Although it used to be a B zone in USPSA.
Right. And then USPSA, for those who don't know the lore, there used to be an A zone, B zone, C zone, and D zone. The B zone was only around the head, and it counted for the same amount as a C zone hit. But the idea was if you had two people with exactly the same score, at the end of the match, they could count the number of B hits to determine who was higher up. It literally never happened.
Yeah.
Because when you can go out to like the 6th decimal, you're not going to go completely even.
No, it was a very FUD carryover from the X ring of NRA targets. Like, well, if there's a tie, then we count the X's. And
maybe from way, way back in the day when they did it all by hand.
But even then, like, the number's still the same.
Just less digits.
Well, no, I mean, they would have been doing that on a calculator. They would have had more than 4 digits. They wouldn't have rounded to the 4th one.
Oh, that's true.
So, I mean, it would have just been one of those things that, well, we should have some sort of tiebreaker because I shot, bullseye. And
yep.
Yeah, I don't think that would have made any sense. Okay. The battle, we had a request. I was on the Paracast with Tom and Robert and Jared today,
and enemy territory,
and it got a little weird. Tom let me do my intros. They weren't as funny as his, but he let me do them. And Robert had a request to do a Jeff's history lesson, which we have not done in like a month or more.
Probably
not because Jeff didn't have one ready, but for whatever reason, he's not very assertive about making sure we get to one, and I forget, and then we're recording for an hour and a half, and we don't get to it, and I'm like, shit.
I always worry we're going to run out of them, but and then I have like 18,000 fucking.
You have a
open.
Gazillion,
right? So today we're going to talk about the Battle of Ciudad Universitaria. I know I'm going to pronounce this completely wrong. I'm just going to call it the university. So this is a battle
the Battle of CU.
The Battle of CU. There we go. This is a battle that takes place during the Spanish Civil War. So if you've never studied the Spanish Civil War, it is the weirdest conflict of the 20th century.
And it happened along at the same time as World War II, right?
So it happened from 1936 to 38, I believe. It's a precursor. It's kind of where a lot of the countries start learning little things. So like the Germans sent what was known as like the Condor Legion, and so that's where they were practicing like daylight bombing, dive bombing. They were working on their combined arms maneuvers. The Italians were involved. The Russians sent some things. They weren't as involved. The Brits and the French tried to stay somewhat neutral, but not completely neutral. The United States was like, we ain't getting involved in nothing. So it was this huge cluster, which in what was essentially a Spanish Civil War. So basically, it doesn't get talked about a lot, but after World War I, a lot of countries in Europe basically were in literal street fights over if they were going to go anarchist, communist, or like far right, or like monarchy. It was a massive cluster. And so the Spanish Civil War is another response. It's actually where one of the places where the term fascist comes from is they literally call themselves, we are the fascists, and it just to refer to their side. So the Battle of CU was a major defensive action during the Spanish Civil War that saw the fascist forces of Italy, Germany, and Spain stopped by what were called the International Militia Brigades. So the International Brigades were volunteers from all over the world. There were Brazilians and people from the UK, people from France, America.
So is it kind of like
Russia.
the random dudes from Canada or the US who go to Ukraine?
Pretty much. These ones were actually a lower quality. So because the ones in Ukraine, they were at least like, hey, can you have like some military experience before you show up? These guys were like, show up. We don't care.
Yeah.
And they'd kind of be. They were somewhat aligned on national lines, and then they would also be organized on political lines. So that's why this conflict's so weird, is because you would have anarchists, communists, socialists, and like Republicans on one side, and then you'd have like monarchists and fascists and like theocrats on the other, like fighting it out. And you're like, these are very weird people to put together because when they weren't fighting each other, they tended to shoot each other. So, the Battle of Cu was the first time the fascists were actually stopped, and it gave hope to the Republican armies because the fascists in this war were the Spanish military. So the regular Spanish military basically got frustrated with the ever turning revolving door of Spanish government, and they were like, you know what, we're just going to go up there and solve it ourselves, and invaded their own country.
We're going to fix this government problem by not having one.
Correct. 100%. So a guy named Franco, you may have heard his name before.
Yep.
He was in charge of the forces, and they were invading from Spanish colonies in Africa and they were invading their own country from Africa. So
that's wild.
Yeah, it's hilarious. So the fascist armies were attempting to take Madrid, which is the capital, to decapitate the Republican government. So this army was made up of the most experienced Spanish forces from the Africa Corps, contingents of the German and Italian military that had volunteered, quote unquote, for the war. They advanced on the city and tried crossing near the under construction university that straddled the Marizena River. So they were confronted by militia forces made up of Spanish civilians, communists, anarchists, and volunteers from the international brigades. Let's see. The international brigades were made up of civilians from around the world, many with little or no military experience. These brigades were able to stop the initial assaults with help from heavy military aid from the Soviet Union. So the Soviet Union sent them 400 light tanks and was like, here you go. So they were able to use those. The forces came to blows over the control of the bridge that crossed the Marizena River. On November 15th, the fascist forces were able to take a bridgehead and force their way into the university. This foothold turned into room-to-room battles over control of the campus building. There are stories of forces using textbooks to make barricades and bunkers. And they commented on how effective some of the philosophy books were at stopping bullets.
I would imagine. Because some of them things are real thick.
Oh, yeah. Thick hardcovers? Hell yeah.
Yeah. Not as good as sandbags, but if you got enough, they'll do in a pinch.
Right. The international brigades were able to put up such a determined fight, the fascists resorted to one of the first uses of air bombing of civilian targets, trying to terror bomb them into retreating. This failed, and the forces dug into their positions, digging trenches and building bunkers. They attempted undermining each other's positions. Basically, if you think of old school siege warfare, where they would literally dig under and then plant a bomb and blow up the defenses, that's what they were trying to do in this university. They held out. The forces were able to hold out until March 1939, when the fascists completed their takeover of Spain. So, it's a super interesting look at the random civilian, when motivated, can defend themselves fairly effectively in a very hard position. They're one of the stories that was related in some of the reading was of two British guys that showed up, and between the two of them, they had one Webley revolver with 3 rounds in it. And they were
that's useful.
Yep. They're like, we're here to help. But they were able to get Mosin Nagants and anti-tank guns and put up a fight to stop the fascists for at least a little while, until, the forces finally took over, and then the fascists controlled Spain until the 1970s.
That's a long time.
Yep.
Because I was just looking now, it's a constitutional monarchy. Or a unitary parliamentary constitutional monarchy. What the hell does that mean?
Right. So Francisco Franco died in 1975, and then in 1975 they're like, yeah, we're done with this. We don't want to play this anymore.
It's amazing how sometimes, whether it's just a business or a country or whatever, no one wants to go against that guy, even though what's that guy going to do? You know, what could he actually do? Well, if enough other people believe in him, well, whatever he wants, you know.
Correct.
But if there's just enough people who don't, they're just gonna be like, I don't want to.
Right. You need enough of the right people, and that's we can talk about the French Revolution one of these times, where the amount of times that it wasn't that the civilians were there doing violence, it was that they were able to convince the units around them to not fight, that actually changed the course of
interesting.
the war. So yeah, it's one of those, like, we kind of think of, because all of our brains go straight to kinetic, like, oh, we need to shoot each other, and the French would just roll up and be like, so you're going to shoot a bunch of women? That's what you're going to do? Like, and they would like shame them. You saw it at the South Korean coup attempt, where there was actually South Korean Special Forces soldiers asking for forgiveness from the crowd because they realized that they were on the bad side, and they were like, "Oh, please forgive us." So
we're on the we were just following orders side.
Right, which, you know, it may not be wrong.
Traditionally has not gone well, though.
Traditionally not well, but, you know, it's always fascinating.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I thought this was just an interesting look at what civilians, I mean, highly motivated civilians can put up a hell of a fight if they want to.
Yeah. Unless it's something Jeff disagrees with.
I mean, I'm here for the anarchists and communists stand up to the fascists. Let's go, boys.
Yeah. Well, no, I just meant like the, you know, like these the things that get you all spun up, like the Gravy Seals and
right, because the greatest thing that anyone can come to realize is that your side is always the good side and the other side is always the bad side. And so I love messing with people. Who was the greatest terrorist in American history?
In American history?
In American history.
Greatest terrorist. Well, that's a loaded word. Greatest.
True.
Like most effective, scariest.
Sure. Yeah, let's go with most effective.
Okay, most effective. Paula Abdul.
George Washington.
Oh. Really?
Think about it. He was an insurgent that won. He was the equivalent of whoever runs the Taliban.
Well,
I mean, at its core, like to the British, he was a insurgent terrorist rebel leader, and so, but he ended up making a country and set precedent and was the Cincinnatus of our country, and he is the great American hero, but technically, depending on the perspective, he was kind of the bad guy for a little while.
Well, bad guy is always perspective, but there's different levels of that too. I mean, you know, how does that insurgent achieve things? Is it terrorism like we're invading and shooting and whatever, or are we like taking kids and chopping their arms off in front of their parents and shit like that, you know?
Yeah, but we also have a tendency to ignore whole parts of the American Revolution, because the southern fight in the American Revolution was way darker than the northern fight, and no one really talks about that part.
No, it's not ever. Those battles aren't really ever part of the history. At least what you learn in elementary school, middle school, high school. Right, or even college, for that matter.
Yeah,
because I took a lot of history in college.
Yeah, because most people just don't spend that much time on it. But it's not that fun to go over like, oh yeah, so like these towns were like killed by these towns, and these guys hated these guys, and it was a whole thing. But so yeah, it's all matters of perspective.
Yeah. Well, history is written by the victor.
Correct.
Typically, because the loser's dead.
Right.
You know. Or about to go on trial or something.
Or they're on the other side of the ocean, and we're like, we're going to write this for ourselves.
Yeah.
And it's funny, nerding out here for a second. It's not actually the people in the moment that tend to write it as propaganda. It's people 50 years later that tried. So like the Ride of Paul Revere was was written in like 1840, something like that. Let's see.
That's a long time after the ride.
Correct. The Paul Revere's Ride is an 1860 poem by Henry Wadsworth Longfellow.
Oh, Jesus. Like almost 100 years later.
Yeah, almost 100 years later. And this is what we base our perception of the ride on. So it's one of those, like, the more you study history, the more you start to understand that you have to dig really deep to kind of like start to understand it at a core level. And then when you're like, I understand this, someone goes, what about this? And you're like, what about that? Oh crap. That does change things. So history is complicated. It will always be complicated. Anyone who tries to simplify it is lying to you. But yeah, so the cleanliness of history tends to be later people trying to tell the story either in a half-assed manner, or they're like, yeah, we don't want to tell like 6-year-olds about like burning people in houses, so we're just going to leave that part out. So
yeah. All right. Well, speaking of burning people in houses, Merry Christmas.
You filthy animals.
Well, and by burning people in houses, like it made me, when you said that, and I knew I was about to segue to the closing and Merry Christmas, it made me think of an episode of NCIS where a guy was going to climb down the chimney in a Santa suit and he got stuck.
Oh, yeah.
And got
I remember
smoked.
that one. Yeah.
He literally got smoked.
Oh, man. That show had some great episodes.
Oh, God. It really did. And it's still going. And I have actually watched now I can say I've seen every single episode of that show.
No shit.
Except for just like the last couple episodes, I just haven't caught up. And the NCIS Origins, sneaky good. Like, it's the backstory of Leroy Jethro Gibbs.
Yeah,
I realize I'm old. What are you doing watching that? There's Squid Game to be watching. Not my jam. I'm not going to be watching Squid Game. I'm just not.
Yeah.
But
who's in charge of the team?
Oh, with the Origins?
No, with the regular series.
The regular series is Lumberg from Office Space. Gary Cole.
Oh, gotcha.
He's actually really good. Like when they brought him in as like an FBI, not bad guy, just guy who was after Gibbs. And then I can't believe I didn't see it coming that they were going to transition him because Mark Harmon is getting old. And it was just completely unbelievable as an NCIS agent. Like he was 72 years old, I think, in real life. But Gary Cole's awesome. They even had an Office Space. Like it was a kind of a heavy-handed. What do they call it when there's like a little
throwback or like a little?
Usually it's like a thing placed in a movie.
Yeah,
I can't think of the term, but. Anyway, they actually made an homage to Office Space, talking about TPS reports. It was so funny. It made me smile. I was glad. But no, he's actually really good. The new hot chick is actually interesting.
Yep.
And Fez has been actually a decent character on there. So it's just, I don't know. I just found myself liking it, even though like all the best characters are long gone. You know, the Tony DiNozzo and Ziva David and the McGee character is still there.
Yeah.
But he's actually more interesting now than he was a long time ago. So,
right.
Yeah. No, I'm old. I'm not afraid to say it. But anyway, Merry Christmas. Thank you so much for listening to this podcast that we started almost exactly a year ago. What was the date? Was our first episode the 28th? So I think actually our Friday Patreon will be like the first, come out on the first, or just shy of the first anniversary of our first episode. Because we started, our first episode released on a Friday, I think, didn't it?
Yeah.
And then we decided to change it to Wednesday.
Yeah, because we were trying to and we recorded like 7 episodes before that trying to get it right, and
they were like rehearsal episodes, like just kind of.
Well, and then USPSA kept imploding.
Yes, it was about this day. It was like yesterday, I think. No, like I think this Monday a year ago, or maybe it was last Monday, was the anniversary of the whole Scott thing. It was a dumpster fire. No, yesterday or today is like the anniversary of the big conference call I had with a whole bunch of people to go, what are we doing? Because I wanted to know what other people in the section thought before I changed the match to Hit Factor.
Yep.
And yeah, that was a whole thing. But no, it was it's been quite a year, Jeff, since we started the show. There's been so many things that have happened. So many things have happened. But hopefully we're heading towards normal with all of that. And the further I get into this, finishing the term as the Area 3 director, if you have inklings of running for Area 3 director, you should, because I'm not. I'm not running for another term. I'm going to finish this term and I'm done.
We'll talk about that on the Patreon episode.
No. Well, you can if you want to. I'll fall asleep. Anyway, Merry Christmas, everybody. Thank you so much for listening, downloading, and patreon.com/notanothershootingshow. Join the Patreon. You get an extra episode every single week. He's Jeff King. I'm Andy Erickson. Ho, ho, ho. This is Not Another Shooting Show.
Oh, Jesus.
That was accidentally cheesier than I intended.